Hey guys, this is Kim from Team CGC, also known as Banana Leaf. Today I'll be discussing this new it's not really a new leader, but it's a set 2 leader. It's actually pretty good with all the new cards right now. He is Son Gohan. So it's a green leader. His auto is once when this card attacks, if Son Goku is in your drop area, this card gains plus 5,000 for the duration of the turn. Awaken, if your life is 4 or less, you may draw 2 cards and then flip this card over. When it's awakened, it turns into a father-son Kamehameha Goku and Gohan. When this card attacks, draw 1 card. He has an activate battle effect. Once per turn, remove all of your cards in your drop area from the game. Take note, it's removing from the game, not warping it. This card gains plus 5,000 power and triple strike. Then, at the end of your turn, you lose the game. So, essentially, it's a pretty good leader. It's a game-ending leader, which is probably going to be negated like most of the time, but you get to catch people off guard. So we'll go right on to the list. I am playing one ultimate card, which is the best one, which is the SS3 Scramble, Raditz, Vegeta, Broly. DBS Dex is not loading the card right now, but I'll put the card in the side. Basically, he's the Burn 2 arrival for 3 reds and 2 green. I think his auto says that when this card is played by arrival, take 1 life, then you burn your opponent for 2 damage. And then for the main cards in the deck, we have 3 intensifying power trunks, 1 drop. When you swing, if you can take a life. This card gains 10,000 in critical. Then we have Raditz the Oppressor. It's the red Gorgos. When your opponent switches energy, that's not an awakened skill. You choose one of your opponent's energy and place it in the drop area. Then we play the new dual colored Broly card, which is the Broly Demonic Origins. It has energy exhaust, so basically when you charge it, you don't charge it in active, you charge it in rest. But it has a permanent. If there's both red and green energy in your energy area, negate this card's energy exhaust skill in all areas. So if you get to charge another red, a multicolor red-green card, when you charge this card, it goes inactive instead of having the energy exhaust effect. Then it has an auto. When you play this card, the opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and then place it in their drop area. Then after that, we play 2 Nappa Vegeta's Underling. It's a multicolored 2 cost. It cannot be KO'd by our opponent's skills. When you play this card, choose 1 card in your hand, place it in your drop area, and then you look at top 10. Then choose up to 2 red or green Raditz or Vegeta cards, which is 3 or less among them. Add it to your hand and then shuffle it. For the targets that we play, we saw the Raditz, the Oppressor, and then it has more like next. We have 3 Mach Speed Kaioken Son Goku, a counterplay card. He has a permanent that if you have a multicolored energy in your energy area, then reduce the energy cost of this card by 1, so it becomes a 2 cost, 1 mandatory red to pay. Then when you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 10,000 for the duration of the turn, and if it's your opponent's turn, choose up to your opponent 1 battle card. It gets minus 5,000 for the duration of the turn. Technically it's a minus 15, but split in 2. You may choose the same target, so it's technically a minus 15. Yeah, I think so. So it's essentially a is that all you got? But it doesn't hit barrier cards as well, but it has a counterplay window to play. And then we played the expansion Gogeta, which is the red green. SSB Gogeta Resonant Explosion. Arrival for 1 red. If you guys don't know what arrival means, arrival is a keyword skill that requires you to have a multicolor, oh not really a multicolor, but red or green cards in your combo area. They have specifics. This one's arrival red green. There's also arrival blue yellow for Bojack such, but this one has arrival red green. It just requires you to have a red green card, a red and a green card in your combo area, which also happens to be if you combo the same card, like a red green color, you just have to combo 1 card because the card counts as red green. Then you may activate arrival. So when you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 4 or less, KO it, and you can't play SSB Gogeta for the rest of the turn. It's a good removal for 4 or less. It's like this deck. This deck has 2 routes. It's either you play the safe route or you play the aggro route. Obviously, you can see that this is a 1 cost 5. It's a 1 cost to play. It's a 5 cost in general, and it has double strike. It's pretty valid. And then we have the new SR from set 7, which is Kaioken. It has deflect, energy exhaust, permanent. If there's 20 or more red or green cards in your drop area, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. It's just this card's just here just to ensure games, or it's another alternative route going to. It's actually it depends on the situation and how you play against your opponent. But I have this in this deck just because of the auto. When your life reaches 1 for the duration of the turn, this card gains triple strike and dual attack. And then that's one of the reasons why it's there, but the main reason is the active main. It says choose 1 card in your life, add it to your hand. And then your opponent reveals their hand, choose up to 1 card, and then place it in the drop area. So it's like, dude, it's a really good card. You get to neg 1 card out of your opponent's hand, and then it gains 25,000 power for the duration of the turn. Plus, it's not once per turn, so you can just, the more healthy your life is, I guess, the more damage you can deal to your opponent. That's pretty nuts, in my opinion. Then we have the newfound powers Son Gohan. This card, what it does is that it's a crit. It's just like the Trunks. Swing, take a life. It gains 10,000 and critical. Then we have the Raditz, Saiyan in Arms, which is the 1 cost. Target for the Nappa. And then it has auto. When you play this card, you draw 1 card, like most of the 1-drops in the game right now. An active main, pay 1 red, 1 green. Place this card in its owner's drop area. If your leader is a green Saiyan card, which is on Gohan, it's a green Saiyan card. Choose up to 1 Vegeta and 1 Nappa card with energy 2 or less and 10,000 power from your deck. Send them to your warp and then shuffle your deck. At the start of the next main phase, this is usually technically a turn. If you get to set up this turn 1, it's a turn 2 play, then the cards come in turn 3, which is kind of nice. And then you get to play the Nappa that searches that card too, and then it could also search the Burgos just for deck thinning. And then we get to play Vegeta, the Royal Prince. Target for the Raditz. It comes into play the next main phase after you activated Raditz effect. It's basically a better Son Gohan. It's a 2 cost and it's a base 10. Uh, it gets killed easily, but we're here for the active main. That's once per turn. You don't have to swing with anything. You just have to activate it. Choose one card in your life, add it to your hand. This card gives 5,000, and then critical for the duration of the turn. Then, while we're at it, we're also playing the Vegeta the Cool, the counterplay card. The same thing as Max Speed Kaioken Son Goku, but this card has the same permanent as that card. If you have a multicolored card in your energy, it's reduced by 1, and then when it has a counterplay timing or counterplay window to play, when you play this card during your opponent's turn, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 4 or less scale width. Then your opponent chooses one card in their hand and then send it to their warp, which is pretty neat. You get to control your opponent's hand. Veggie players like the new Universe 6 spam stuff. This card helps a lot. Since we play a lot of kill cards such as this, Gogeta, the Negate Shocking Death Ball, we get to play Surprise Attack Frieza. Surprise Attack Frieza, what it does, it comes into play. You can only have one copy of Surprise Attack in the field. It comes into play when you KO a battle card. Basically, that's it. It's a free play. It has crit, and then you get to interact in your opponent's turn, I guess, because you get to summon your cards in your opponent's turn. Then I opted to main deck this Dark Power Black Mass Him. It's a Self Awakener, and then his second auto. It's a Self Awakener. It's basically the same thing as Gohan and Trunks, but the second auto is really good, especially for this format where U6 is swarming around like crazy. And then, so what it does, it basically is that when your opponent plays a battle card with 15,000 power or less using a non-keyword skill, basically when they play a card out of something's auto, usually your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and then places them in the drop area. I believe so. Yeah, places them in the drop area. That's what Dark Power BMS does. And then we play Scientist Fu just in case you get to the situation that you really needed to apply pressure. I know it kind of locks the Kaioken effect, but at some point in time when you get to swing a lot and they don't respond to anything that you do, but they keep on taking the hits, eventually you will need one cause that the double damage. And then Scientist Fu is a good card because it has double strike, overarm 7 minimum requirements cards in the drop area, and then it draws 2 for 1. Then since we're playing a green leader, we're playing defending Father Paragus. It's a better Hoi. You draw 2 cards and then choose one card in your hand, send it to your warp. So it's essentially a better Hoi since you draw 2 first before you warp a card. Unlike Hoi says this card 1 card first and then draw 2 cards. You would actually prefer Paragus than anything. Then for the extra cards, we play 4 Shocking Death Balls as always. Sparking 5, you get to play it by taking 1 card out of your life, killing a 2 or less. And then it also makes your Frieza active. And then for a counterplay extra card, I opted to play Hidden Power of the Saints instead of Preemptive Strike, since Hidden Power of the Saints doesn't have a cost requirement. And if they choose not to play a card, they get to warp. Oh, it's not warp, but they get to choose 2 cards from their hand and place them in the drop area. Another thing is that since it doesn't have a cost requirement, unlike preemptive says 4 or less, this one doesn't. So versus big cards, it's pretty good, especially if they don't have a hand, which most likely they're not gonna have a hand, because this deck could play both defensive and offensive. It plays low cost cards and high pressure cards and such. So if you want to see the visual view of the deck, here it is. So yeah, so the basic, like the fun combo in this deck when you play against other people, which catches them off guard, is that at 5 life you swing with your leader if it's awakened. Combo red, red and a green. Like you play like how many 5-drops? Like a lot. 5 drops, 5 cost, 5 combo power, 0 cost cards, which is a lot. You play 3 10Ks. You play Paragon Super Combo, which sees you more 0 5Ks. Then you play the SCR as a rival, which hits them for 2 damage while they're at 5, putting them at triple strike range after the summon of Reddit, which enables you to activate battle, and then use your leader's effect, give it triple strike, and then 5 game more. So essentially it's a 5 damage turn 5, but I don't think it's gonna last that long, but just in case it lasts that long, I guess that's the play. It's a defensive deck, I say, because you play a lot of counterplay cards that would answer the meta right now. Universe 6s, you have BMS to control their hand. You have Kaioken Son Goku to reduce their cards combat power. Since I believe Kale and Caulifla 1-drops cannot be KO'd by effects, I think that's about it. But you may reduce them, which kills them in a nice way. Then prevents you from getting aggro down, since most of the cards here is in counterplay window. And then I just believe that I built the deck, I guess, out of countering Universe 6 deck. But I haven't I'm not really sure if I tried it with other decks, but I do know that this deck has a bad Hercule matchup, since it wasn't fun. He gets a combo more, but with the pressure from the SCR and stuff, the deck would deal 5 damage in theory, like consistently. I would remove the newfound powers on Gohan, honestly, and then put Trunks Bridge to the Future just to fuel up your. It searches a Saiyan, which is most of your deck is a Saiyan. It searches for a Saiyan, and then it fuels your sparking and your drop area for Kaioken. And that's it, guys. This is the deck profile of the Son Gohan, Set 2 Son Gohan leader. Hope you like it. And as always, like, subscribe the videos. We'll be posting more deck profiles. I'll try every week. New spices, new techs and stuff. I'll try to be creative. But as always, this is Banana Leaf signing out.
Can't get